Welcome back to Paranormal Resident. In today's video, we investigate the horrific story of Leonarda Cianciulli, the cannibal soap-making murderer. Before we start, make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, all linked down below. Here we go. Leonarda Cianciulli was born on April 18, 1894, in the Italian town of Montella. Leonarda had a troubled childhood. Her mother held dismay towards her due to the fact she was conceived during rape. Leonarda grew up with little to no love and was cruelly treated by her parents. She attempted suicide twice in her early life. In 1917, Leonarda married for the first time to a registry clerk by the name of Pansardi. Leonarda's parents didn't approve of the marriage as they had planned to marry her off to a different man. Leonarda believed that her mother put a curse on her because of this, which made her incredibly paranoid. In 1921, the husband and wife moved to Pansardi's hometown of Lauria, where Leonarda was sentenced and imprisoned for fraud in 1927. Being highly superstitious, she believed the curse her mother put on her was in full effect. Gaining a shameful reputation, Leonarda and Pansardi moved to Lacedonia, but the curse was soon to make itself known again when their new home was destroyed by a 6.6 magnitude earthquake. They moved again after losing everything to the earthquake. They moved to Correggio, where Leonarda opened up a small shop. She was well respected here and liked by the people. Finally, her luck was changing. Sadly, Leonarda had 17 pregnancies during her life. She lost 3 of her babies to miscarriage. 10 more died in their youth. The 4 children who did survive became her everything, and she would do anything to protect them. On a visit to a local fortune teller, her worst fears were brought to the surface. The mystic told her that all her children would die young. This fueled her paranoia and fear. She vowed to protect her children at all costs, even if it came to murder. She also visited a palm reader who told her that in her right hand she saw prison and in her left a criminal asylum. In 1939, her beloved eldest child Giuseppe was enlisted to join the Italian army during the years of World War II. Leonarda's depraved mind believed that she could save her son by human sacrifice. She found her victims in her neighbors. The first victim was Faustina Setti, a lifelong spinster. Leonarda worked on the side as a fortune teller. It's unknown if Leonarda was an actual seer or if it was just all in her mind. Faustina Setti went to meet Leonarda to seek information on her love life and if she would marry. Leonarda told her that a husband awaited her in Pola, but told her not to tell anyone of the news and to write a letter to her loved ones, telling them that she was safe and well and was moving to be with her so-called future husband. Before Miss Setti set off to meet her future husband, Leonarda invited her for a good luck drink in her home. Leonarda offered her a glass of wine, which was laced with drugs. When Miss Setti eventually passed out, Leonarda hacked at her and killed her with an axe. She dragged the body into a closet. She cut it into 9 pieces and drained the blood into a bucket. She described what she did next in her official statement. I threw the pieces into a pot. I also added 7 kilos of caustic soda, which I had bought to make soap, and I stirred the mixture until the pieces dissolved into a thick, dark mush. which I poured into several buckets and emptied into a nearby septic tank. As for the blood in the basin, I waited until it had coagulated, dried it in the oven, ground it down, and mixed it with flour, sugar, chocolate, milk, and eggs, as well as a bit of margarine, kneading all the ingredients together. I made lots of crunchy tea cakes and served them to the ladies who came to visit. Even myself and my son Giuseppe also ate some. Some sources record that Leonarda convinced Faustina to give her her life savings, for she would not need it when she met her new suitor. This amounted to 30,000 lira. Her second victim was Francesca Soavi. Leonarda claimed to have found her a job in a school in Piacenza. Like Faustina, she told her to write to her loved ones that she was safe and well and moved to a new town for the new position. She too met with Leonarda before she embarked on her new life. She was drugged and gave the same disturbing treatment as the first victim. The murder occurred on the 5th of September 1940. Leonarda obtained 3,000 lira from her second victim. Her third and final victim was Virginia Cacipo, a singer. Again, Leonarda claimed she had found work for her as a secretary in Florence, and as with the other victims, she was told not to tell a living soul. On the 30th of September 1940, Virginia came to visit Leonarda for the last time. The pattern of murder was the same. In another statement, Leonarda described these events. She ended up in the pot, like the other two. Her flesh was fat and white. When I had melted it, I added a bottle of cologne, and after a long time on the boil, I was able to make some acceptable creamy soap. I gave bars to neighbours and acquaintances. The cakes too were better. That woman was really sweet. Leonarda reportedly received 50,000 lira, assorted jewels, and public bonds from Cacipo. She even sold all of her clothing and her shoes. Virginia Cacipo's sister became suspicious of her sudden disappearance. She knew that the last person to see her saw her enter Leonarda's house. This was Leonarda's downfall. Virginia's sister reported her fears to the police. Once arrested, Leonarda happily confessed to the murders, believing it was something she had to do to save her son. She was tried for murder in 1946. While on trial, she calmly corrected the prosecutor when he got certain details wrong about the grisly murders. She was found guilty of her crimes and sentenced to 30 years in prison and 3 years in a criminal asylum, foretold by the palm reader she saw. She died in 1970 on the 15th of October. The pot in which she boiled her victims, along with the axe she used, is on display at the Museum of Criminology in Rome. You have been watching Paranormal Resident. If you could, make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, all linked down below. And until next time, be careful what you wash your hands with. It could be one of Leonarda's victims.